Okay, I went down to my local provider today.
Due to some technical difficulties.
Yeah, I spent over $1,000 getting a new provider. Went from AT&T to Verizon. Got a brand new top of the line Android, and it still went out. I don't know if it's my garage or what. So we're back on Randy's Live. What I was saying before, we got some followers yet. I need to wait for people to get on.
Oh, we got David and Ricky are watching.
Okay, I really apologize, guys. I mean, I don't know what else to do other than buy, full-blown broadcasting stuff to do this with. I'm trying to do this off my cell phone, so obviously even with a new cell phone that didn't work. So we're back to Randy's phone. As I was saying, I've been doing this since 1986, and I've always idolized bigger name racers back from the 80s and 90s when I was a kid. Who were sponsored and were winning races and stuff like that, and by the grace of God, we've arrived. We're there. We've had a couple announcements here to make. Me and Ricky Bellotti here just made some deals with Troy over at Phantom. I'm sure that most of you are aware of who Phantom RC products are. I've been personally using Phantom motors and products since I was probably 91 or 92, so I've been with them right from the start, and they've always just made top-notch stuff. And like I said, by the grace of God, we've been contacted by them, and we've put some kind of race schedule together, and we got a plan together, and so we're currently sponsored by Phantom RC products. You can find them online. They make great stuff. And if a lot of the deals that we've made in the last couple of weeks, the reason why we've said yes to these deals aren't because they make okay products or because they make a lot of stuff. It's because that's what we use, and that's all that we want to use because it's the best stuff on the market, hands down. Phantom Racing products. Notice right here on the hat. Okay, right above the 707.
Right here on the car, on the winning car.
This is it. So let me get back to my shout outs. Back to saying by the grace of God, I speak for me when I say this. Every breath is a gift. Every test pass is a gift. Every race won is a gift. Being able to own toys and have friends like this is a gift. So always be. There's a lot of people out there that can't do this, and so I think we should all feel really appreciative of what we got, and let's get down to it. So another company that we have currently taken on a sponsorship with is RCRI, or RC Racing Innovations. If you haven't heard of them, go to their website. You can type in just that, RCRI, or I would prefer you to type in RC Racing Innovations, and you go on their website, and they have stuff that is just second to none. It is the most outlandish, most awesome designs with carbon fiber and G10 fiberglass that are on the market. I think that we really, really, really picked a company that 3 years ago, I mean, that's one of the reasons why the winning car, the Ghost from Las Vegas, actually is an RCRI chassis, and it also had a Phantom motor in it. The chassis itself is out of production. And we got contacted by them, and we said, hey, we really want to run this chassis again, and it's now currently back up on the website. It's called the Black Widow chassis. Very good chassis. So that's, in the next couple of weeks, that's what we're going to be doing. All the vehicles here are going to be transitioned over to nothing but Phantom products, Hobbywing products for me, and RCRI chassis. That's all we're going to run. So if you guys don't know these companies, you're new to the sport, reach out to these companies, make some orders, make it happen. The more you guys want to go fast, the more that you'll want these products in your car, and the more everything goes up for everybody. So Phantom RC products, motors, batteries, they make all kinds of stuff that's just top-notch race stuff. And along with the RCRI chassis, I want to give a huge shout out to Ron here with Hobbywing North America for giving me a second year with Hobbywing. I think I've really shown the world what a Hobbywing can do. I think that if anybody at anywhere, without tooting their own horn and being humble, can say that they are at the helm of this Nprc ship with all these warriors behind me, which are you guys, I'm proud to say that we are where we are right now. So Big shout out to Ron at Hobbywing. Hobbywing, everybody knows Hobbywing is. If you don't have an XR10 Pro, you know, I know there's maybe even some people here at the table that would disagree, but run one or get beat by one. So, I wanted to say, I want to apologize real quick for not being able to make it out to Vegas. I had some stuff come up last minute. I was one of the first people that was on board with going to Vegas. You know, that looked like there was a lot of guys that really, really met each other and talked it up. And I'm sorry I couldn't be a part of that. I won't miss another race, I guarantee you that. I hear a lot about the Hawaiian guys. This is a group of gentlemen that just came over from they came all the way from the Hawaiian Islands to come over and race us, and everybody else that showed up to Tyler, it was Tyler's event, right? Tyler's event. Tyler Zavadil in Las Vegas had this. He had this event. If you're just tuning in for the first time, it was a no prep, all call out drag race called the King of the Streets in Vegas. And I wanted to just say what's up to the Hawaiian guys. I mean, all the people. I wish I could have been there and met everybody with you guys. But for everything, everybody's just raving about the Hawaiian guys, you know. So I don't know if they were slipping you guys like Hawaiian barbecue up the back door or something. But
Spam musubi's.
I want to give a shout out to our race master and one of my close friends, Gabe. Without Gabe, a lot of this wouldn't be possible, you know, for me. And all of our buddies that, you know, around here in 707 that get a lot of ideas and stuff from us. Freddie Hammond is one of our close friends. Hey, what's up, Freddie? And Tony Cortez and Tony Cortez Sr. Sr. was, this was a man that I kind of took under my wing last year, and he got it really fast, and he climbed all the way up to second on the list, and then he had some stuff with work come up in a new job, so he actually dropped off the list for that. But, other than that, I want to give something really quick to Randy for his birthday, and what this is one of our team shirts, Phantom Racing. You know, I really love Phantom products, and I want you to have one of these. It's his 34th birthday today.
Thank you.
And it's
I feel great with my Phantom motor there.
there you go. See, even Randy's running Phantom motors. If you don't got a Phantom motor, go get one. Go earn some W's in wherever it is that you race out there. And the last person before I want to give Ricky the mic real quick, if we had one. I want to give a shout out to all you guys. You know, I told these guys before tonight started that, you know, the first 3 ones we did, I've always been fine speaking in front of people. I'm not worried about that. I do it. I work for Novato PD. I have to go to, you know, city hall meetings with the mayor and the chief of police, and it's nerve-wracking sometimes, but I'm pretty good at it. And the first, you know, 3 videos that we did, I felt like I was up here holding my breath the whole time. I hadn't felt like I had quite arrived. I hadn't accomplished yet quite what I had set out to do. And I think with Ricky Bellatti's win in Vegas, I mean, that really, this racer, this wheelman was able to step into my idea and get in my head and listen to the little spiritualistic, you know, bugaboos about the car and make it work. And he made it happen for us. And I feel like with, you know, Troy from Phantom reaching out, and Steve from RCRI, and what Ron from Hobbywing has given me, and we are here. We have arrived. So I feel like I'm a little bit more at ease tonight, which is kind of cool. So I was aware that at the Vegas race there was an incident that happened. Ricky, why don't you tell us about that?
So we're talking about Carson.
Carson, if you're out there.
Carson, you watching? Anyhow,
is Carson, hold on, let's see if he's on here real quick.
I saw his dad comment. I saw Justin comment. So
what's his last name?
It is.
That's a lot of comments. Let's see.
Justin Terpstra. Carson, where are you at?
Oh, there he is. He's watching. Justin's watching.
Comments must be running a little slow. I know you guys are out there.
Okay.
So anyhow, we go to Vegas. You know, we see these guys. Australia. They're running their cars, and I was kind of intimidated by some of the cars I seen running in the parking lot, and we get out there anyways. We all sign up. We're going through the list, and I look over and I see this little kid, and he's out there. He's making test rips, and his car's going straight, and he was doing everything he could to have a good time. A lot of us will admire that because you are the future of the sport. you were taken out by one of our guys in the first round, unfortunately. I didn't like to see that, but it is what it is. So I just wanted to say that because you still had a smile on your face after that race,
What?
I am sending you this carbon fiber chassis
What?
and
Are you
10-inch
deaf
wheelie bars.
now?
Oh.
And on the bottom, even though I'm nobody, but it is signed by me.
He's somebody.
It is
There you
signed
go.
by the King of the Streets.
King of the Streets from that race, 2020, Ricky Bellotti, 707, where we get down.
I want to see you out there next year, and I want to see you out there with a competitive car, and there's your start. So hopefully that will help you get to that point. And I think the kids are the future of the sport, you know, and to see you still
Hey, you know what?
smiling.
If you don't mind, Carson, if Carson's watching right now, chime in right now and tell us what kind of motor you're running. I want to know what kind of motor's in your car right now. We'll box this up and we'll get this shipped out to Carson ASAP. Have you reached out and got their address yet?
I got his address.
Ricky's got his address. He's on it. Looks like Carson's going carbon fiber, baby, right out of Judd's RC Motorsports in the 707. Ricky Bellotti and Randy Vieira.
His dad's already got a slash. He told me that he can use to convert it over.
There you go. That's
So,
big time right
We're
there.
going to set you in the right direction.
Awesome. I want to give one more shout out to Ted Green at Absolute Customs up in Runner Park. Ted's a great guy. Ted's been, he's running a hot rod shop for years and years. Really knowledgeable guy. They do auto, body, and collision. Ted Green at Absolute Customs up in Runner Park. He's also the one that cuts all the decals out for all the ghost bodies and all my numbers and just a lot of stuff that we do. The guy's just a really nice guy, and he's always willing to pitch in and help out. So I want to give him a big shout out to Ted. Ted, if you're watching.
So Carson's running a Castle Sidewinder.
Well, stand by, Carson, because there might be a little something else in the box I might throw in with that. But yeah, so okay, Carson. You obviously, you were the future of motorsports, like we touched on last week with Emma being here, and it's hard. I was a kid. I remember racing in the late '80s, and people like Gary O'Connor. I'd go around a turn halfway in a race, and my wheel would fly off. Because I would forget to check that stuff. And it was frustrating. And I would go home crying from the track because I was so upset that my car just wouldn't work right. And people like Gary O'Connor and stuff did. Take me under their arm and help me get stuff sorted out and help me get on the right track, and that's what we're trying to do here, right, guys? Yeah. So, we might have to go look at that. We'll excuse Ricky here for a minute. We got all our kids here tonight, and it sounds like they're killing each other in the other room. So, I just want to let everybody know where we get down with Phantom RC products, motors, batteries. Contact our website, Phantom RC. Get their motors, get their batteries. That's how we go so freaking fast. RCR, RCRI, RC Racing Innovations, Chassis Works. They make all our wheelie bars. They make all the carbon fiber chassis. They're hands down just the dopest company to deal with, and we're very, very proud to be sponsored by them now. Hobbywing, for all the Hobbywing stuff that we run, our Hobbywing stuff just murders it. They've been a really good company as far as backing me for the last 2 years, and I think they definitely helped me get to where I'm at right now.
I'm not even being sponsored. When I've had issues, I've contacted them. They were really quick to help me get my stuff back on the road again.
Yeah. So if you're like one or two guys I've seen out there that don't really want to pay attention and listen to the boundaries of this stuff is because anything can be hurt, and you're just kind of yanking on stuff. And that's how you want to learn. Yes, that's one way to learn, and you can take that speed control if you have a problem with it, and within a week you can get a new one. I'm not saying to go out and try stuff with your speed control to try and blow it up, because that stuff won't be warranted. But as far as trying to push the limits with these things, you really got to know where to tune, and that's kind of what I've been trying to help people out. We're going to have another much more informed next week. We're going to go, I don't know if we're going to go live next week or the following week, in 2 weeks from now, but I'll let everybody know. And we're going to go back to our original format of being much more informative and getting technical and showing you how to do one specific thing for a half hour or whatever. Tonight's more about talking about Vegas, which we're going to get to. And I've had a lot of people, this is something that is kind of a double-edged sword here. I love helping people. I'll always continue to help people. But I think that some people, because I get that way with my RC cars, when I've seen a new product or whatever, I contact them. I want to know, and in the last 3 weeks, I spent about a half hour going through this today. I've had what I can guess is 1,263 messages. I'm getting 15 messages throughout the night. I'm getting messages when I first wake up in the morning. My inbox is stacked. I've taken over 40 phone calls from 4 different countries. I have 316 new friends on Facebook after this win in the last couple weeks, and the sponsors, and just getting our name out there. I really, really appreciate all the sponsors, but you guys really got to remember that Monday through Friday I work a real job. I can't be talking about RC cars all day long on the phone. If you guys could respect that, and during the night, I'm out in Cali. It's Pacific time, so do the math on that. If it's 3 a.m, I'm probably asleep. So other than that, I'll always, I think there's not a person out there that can say that they messaged me and I didn't message them back. It's very, very hard dealing with a whole nation full of people that have questions and you want to help them, but there's only so much of me. So between being a single dad and tuning my own race cars and working for the police department full time, it's really been. I haven't had much time to do anything on my cars because I'm talking with people. There's if you want to spend some money and get a really nice race chassis that comes in several different forms, whether more of a stockish car with some good parts that go fast, or a full-blown, at the other end of the spectrum, a full-blown carbon fiber car that's got my suspension on it and it's all dialed in, I can make one race ready, that's ready to run. It's all depending on how far you want to go and how much money you're willing to spend on one of these. I think the average that we have in one of these high-end, these aren't RC cars, these are race cars. These cars go out when they're tested, they're run for a minute at the most, and that's just it. They're race cars. So let's start with talking.
Justin responded, said, "I've one happy boy. Thank you guys."
Oh, awesome.
So I'm glad he's happy. That's
Justin.
That's Carson's dad.
Oh, good. That's really good to hear. When Ricky comes back in from stopping the children from murdering themselves, we will. Everything all good out there, Ricky?
Everything's good.
Okay.
Everybody has their limbs.
Emma's not setting anything on fire or watching TV.
No.
Okay. So let's dive right into it. I think that. Man, I got to tell you, I could sit here and most people would say, I don't care, you didn't show up. But I think that for me, it was really hard, especially when it was going on. And I was talking to Ricky all throughout the day between every single round. And my heart was pumping. I was actually, when you guys were in Vegas and the race was going on, I was at a Jump Town place with my daughter and a bunch of kids and my cousin. So I'm over in the corner going, I know, I'll play in a minute, but I had to watch these races. Thank you for everybody who pulled out their videos and went live on it and kept me informed. I saw every angle. I saw the races. And like JJ's guys would say, off at the head. You know what I'm saying? Off at the head. Come on, Randy, get one. But really, so tell us, Randy, obviously there was probably a little bit of anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
Leading up the first weeks of the race, starting to think about packing up and headed out there. It's a long drive for us. It's not the longest, but for a remote control car race to drive, 10
hours.
10 hours is a long way to drive. So tell us about that build up to going out there.
I think actually the build up wasn't as bad as when I was actually there seeing all the people getting in line to get their cars checked, to pay their money, to start to pay to play.
It got a little intimidating.
That's when it's like, holy crap, like there's a lot of people here. And watching the everybody's test hits, there's a lot of fast cars out there. That's when it started getting intimidating, starting to get a little worked up.
Would you say that there was a majority of heavy hitters there?
Yeah, there's definitely some heavy hitters there.
Some heavy hitters there.
Some fast cars.
Yeah. Somebody said something that really touched me, and I got to tell you guys, I haven't had one negative comment. I have people messaging me from the Cayman Islands that, hey, I don't really need anything from you. I'm just letting you know, man, I watched the videos and saw what you guys are doing, and just you guys are just, thank you for doing what you do. And I don't know what that meant, but I think that's, again, just helping people and sharing with what we have. And what he said back to me and he responded to me with was that really, really rung in my head was that when you can open your hood and show America most of the little things you're running to get their cars faster, and you can still go out and win, that's a true champion. So I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of my boys here. I'm proud of everybody in the 707. We've learned a lot. It's been a long road. I came in late. I've been doing this for almost 3 years. I think the Sonoma County 707 Nprc has been going for almost 4 years. So I was actually about a year late. So, Randy, tell us, when did you get to Vegas?
I left early. What is it? I got off work Tuesday night, went home, took a nap, and we left Tuesday night, got there Wednesday morning.
You drove through the whole night.
I drove all night just to go to Vegas.
Which,
that was
because he actually stopped by my house to get a motor dyno right before he left town. I dynoed his motor and he left. And I was like, man, just drive safe, bro. You know, and I like to do that too because there's no traffic. It's nice and cool.
Oh my God, it was so nice.
Down to Disneyland I could take Emma to Disneyland once a year, me and her. And that's part of the trip. People are like, why don't you fly? I'm like, well, we like the road trip, you know? So, Ricky, tell me, when did you get to the race?
I got to Vegas Friday morning at about 7 a.m.
Your car got there before you?
Thursday, my car left, or Wednesday.
Hell yeah.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Yes, she did.
It was loaded into the back of our camera person's car, Jamie's car, and they all left for Vegas without me. And once they all got there, I was seeing pictures, and I was feeling really bummed out that I didn't leave when they did.
Yeah. We took a photo shoot with her.
But everything boiling up to that point, put a new motor in, had some issues, ended up going with the Phantom motor, and got the car dialed in.
We were not necessarily problems, but we were doing some experimental stuff just for this race, and right at the last minute, we had a backup plan too for that. So an experimental backup plan, and what we thought would work didn't work, and what happened? We broke a rotor. We ended up immediately yanking that motor out and putting a brand new Phantom in it, and the thing just, what did it do, Ricky?
It won the race.
There you go.
Y'all saw it in action.
Phantom RC products. Go get a motor. Go get a battery. You in an XR10 Pro from Hobbywing, and you'll see what we're talking about. And up in one of our upcoming videos, we're going to have a more... I know I kind of touched on XR10 Pros and tuning a little bit, just kind of the basics for a start tune. I want to do that a little bit more in depth in one of our upcoming films. So, so you guys are both in Vegas, probably nervous as shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that everybody was that traveled for this race. Just the swarm of people must have been intimidating. But we went there to do what we do, and that is, at the 11th hour, we wipe that smile off and we take that time card and we clock in and we sit down at the desk and we put in work, right? So, Randy, give us a brief description of when you first showed up to the track in the morning and the people you met and what happened in your race program. And what and overall, how'd you think about it?
I showed up to Ricky and all the 707 guys there already because we were running a little behind. I had to go get myself a breakfast burrito.
Breakfast burrito!
From Roberto's Taco Shop. I had probably 4 or 5. I had probably 4 or 5 breakfast burritos. They were really good. Got there, backed the car and started unloading the car. I was nervous mostly because I had a brand new body that I had a couple test runs on. It looked really good. It was really good. And I was going to run a brand new body. I was going to take the heavy body I had off.
So did you end up... Okay, now everybody's known Randy recently has been running Corvette, a Proline Corvette, and he's made it work pretty well, especially with his big spoiler. You showed up there, the new body you were talking about was the Parma Trans Am.
Yes.
Okay. Now, is that the one that you competed with?
Yes.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, I ran it.
So you obviously...
It was good. I was like, yep, it's going to go.
You ran the car in the morning. The thing was straight. It had good aero.
I did a last-minute motor change right there, right before we started signing in, because I ran my car. I was like, all right, and the motor we dynoed just wasn't giving me what I wanted. What's
the big difference between the two bodies? Did you notice a lot more rear-end traction?
I noticed a lot less sag in the back of the Trans Am, because that Corvette is just long and it's heavy and it just sags in the back.
It's a Pro Mod body.
Yeah, it's a Pro Mod body. It sags in the back, so it gave me a lot more rear weight.
Okay.
So it actually, it wanted to tilt, the whole car would tilt back.
Okay.
So it wasn't sitting, so it'd ride a lot harder on the rear
okay.
on the spoiler, not spoiler, on the wheelie bar.
Okay.
So I changed the body. It definitely changed the whole attitude of the car. Definitely seemed like it wanted to ride more even, not so tail heavy.
So would you say the shorter little blunt body helped you?
It did. It felt a lot better. It definitely. The shorter body definitely.
Okay.
She gets a lot of weight off of it too.
Tell us how your race went. Walk us through the first round.
First round was nerve-wracking. Everybody's sitting there lining up to pull your chips to pick your lane and run her down the track. That was the most nerve-wracking of any of the races. I got knocked out in the second round, unfortunately, but I gave her all I had. Guy got me by I was at his door, so it was a good race, half a car. So.
And what do you think was after walking away from that run? Whenever I lost a race in the past, there was always that one thing that immediately, oh man, I shouldn't have tweaked the wheelie bar like that, or God damn, I should have left the other opinion on it. What was the one thing that you think that you should have done after you lost that race?
Should have hit the tree harder. Cause that thing it was going. I mean, she was.
So did you hesitate rolling into it?
I don't know is necessarily a hesitate or my reaction time isn't as good as it could have been.
Okay.
It could be a variable of things. I mean,
okay.
I don't know.
What you learned?
Yeah, it is what it is.
Actually, check out the back of this. This is what he did. This is it. Now, Hawaiian guys, if you guys are watching this,
yeah, we got
anybody
can. One of them, they're watching.
If you guys can reach out, even if I got to pay for it, whatever. I know we're all hardworking men here. I would love one of these shirts. This shirt is just the bee's knees. If you don't have one of these shirts, I mean, no prep drag racing Hawaii. Is that just the bee's knees or what? We don't lose, we win or we learn. And that's what that's the positive attitude we want the newcomer to see. Nobody's a loser in this, I really like that shirt. I think that shirt represents a lot of what I heard from about the Hawaiian guys when I was out there, and a lot that I saw in the video. They're just positive guys, and I think that's just really awesome. I like anybody like that in my life. So God bless, guys.
I can personally vouch, living in Hawaii for the 8 years that I did. Hawaii's got a whole different culture. It's all about the aloha, the love, and they're willing to do anything for you. So I think I offered the same to them out there, anything they needed, because I know they came from so far away. Yeah, exactly. We had all the tools, soldering irons. I walked over and said, anything you guys need, come on down.
Yeah, after having to fly all that way and probably not bringing a lot of that stuff.
It was an honor to be back with my island guys, and hope to see you soon. I'm going to bring this car out there, and we'll have some fun.
Ricky, you're white.
I'm a haole.
Well, what do they say over there? What would I say to say hi to them right now?
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha. Is that cool?
And mahalo for coming.
Or do I just look like a white dude trying to fit in?
You look like a white dude.
Okay. How about this? No? How do you guys... I don't know how to hold it.
Typical haoles, brother.
Oh.
Well, you know what? I think Emma, instead of going to Disneyland for the 4th time, I think this year she might want to go to Hawaii. So maybe I'll have to I don't know, slip a no prep car in my baggage.
the kind. The kind haole boy right here.
Well, I really wish I could have met you guys. I mean, it sounded like a blast. So,
I live streamed with them for a while, and those guys, they're hilarious.
So you got to meet them too?
Oh, yeah.
Every single one.
Randy was all up in it.
Okay.
So nice.
Every single one of them.
Maybe I don't want to talk about the race anymore.
Now we're dreaming about being on the beach.
Right. No, I'm dreaming about being in one of the lanes. So yeah, just to clear everything up for everybody. There's been a lot of this or that. I guess at the end of the day, the first part of me that's a down-to-earth guy wants to go, you know what, I can't take any credit for any of this because I wasn't there. I didn't do it. Ricky did, And a couple people reached out. Purple people? Easy for you to say. A couple of people reached out and said, you know what, Ricky, hands down, bought a product. He took it out and he used it properly. And he won a really big race. And you know what? I don't do that a whole lot. Well, my hat's off to you, bro. You really, really fucking ran a good race from what I'm sorry. I should watch my language. Sorry, I got into bro talk there, But I had a couple people reach out and say, there is a little credit you can take. I mean, this car right here, this piece of aluminum, steel, carbon fiber, and G10 and plastic, and a little bit of rubber mixed in. This car is 2.5 years of my life here. This car is is when you're watching a movie with your wife, I'm out in the garage, wrenching on this thing. When you're, out watching a movie or having sushi or going to the bar or drinking a beer, I'm at home dynoing motors, and I'm weighing different brands, intermediate gears in the transmissions to see which one's lighter. And I'm really, really sciencing. That's what I told myself 2.5 years. I'm going to science the crap out of this thing. I feel like a nerd. I was like, I'm going to nerd this thing. And that's what Ricky purchased for me. And the reason why I got rid of it was to maybe locally stir up a little kind of what the heck is going on. Use that to be the platform, the what the heck is going on, to transition myself into this car here. This car is set up identically to the Ghost. It houses Hobbywing speed control, Phantom racing motor. It has an undisclosed custom-made chassis that I'm not going to disclose because this car will be converted to an RCRI chassis within as soon as we can get them in. But this is right here. This is the future of Dennett Racing. Okay. No, Judd's RC Motorsports. I'd like to try and transition Randy into one of these.
I don't know.
But
you can do it. I like my associated. I really do.
As much time and love and passion that I have into this thing, I wasn't holding the radio. He really took what I built and showed me what it would do, even when I couldn't do that. So tell us a little bit about your day, Randy. Ricky. See, that's the problem having two buddies. They both have R's. I just called him Ricky and I called him Randy.
So we got there set up, and first everybody set up all the way at the wrong side of the track. So we had to carry all our tables with cars, that already had the nerves excuse the French, the nerves were flying. But anyhow, we went through, I put new tires on, made sure gearing, everything was set up right. The first round, I don't know how many of you guys actually watched the whole race, but I think that was the round that really made me learn this car. I went up to the line, and I think every one of my guys in 707 were holding their breath. The car shot left hard towards the center line, made a right turn. All this is going on in the brain, and I'm letting off the throttle and getting back into the throttle. Somehow managed to get it back straight without touching the center line, and just drove right through the finish line. And then as soon as I saw the car do that, I knew what needed to be done, and from there on out it was just I got into the zone, focused on what I was doing, and that was it. I had people coming up asking me, hey, you want us to bet for you? And I was like, nope, I just want to do what I came here to do.
Oh, yeah, a lot of side bets going on.
I can tell you that anybody that saw this car line up, they were throwing money on this car in that lane. And I don't know how much money y'all made, but and what it boiled down to is this car, it just works. Dan, like I said, I've given all the credit of building a great car, and what he has done with this car, it worked. All I had to do is cut the light, which I was really good at. A couple times they thought I might have jumped. Unfortunately, it was against one of the Hawaiian guys. But it was a pretty nerve-wracking day, and me having an anxiety disorder, I was taking my medication, just trying to stay calm, and I stayed focused. I didn't get wrapped up in all the outside mumbo jumbo going on. And one thing Dan told me is you got to tree them. You got to tree them.
The car will leave harder than anybody, but you gotta be paying attention.
And that's, I think, what it all boiled down to was I was on that tree, and she came through at the end. Her and I got along great all day, and we brought home the win. And aside from that, at the end of the day, I went to got all the 707 guys like Randy and everybody else that raced and paid to race. Because we won with this car, I gave them all their money back.
It's on video.
And
I was live streaming.
It was just something I felt I had to do because they all made the journey out there with us. So, but that was once it was all done, I don't know if anybody got me on camera, but I think I yelled out a pretty loud F-bomb and jumped around like a monkey.
I saw you jump up and go, yeah, like a hand swipe with and then I was like, okay, what about the car?
The car
did you
fine.
Stop the car? Is the car still rolling?
The car.
What about the car?
The car. the car was so fast it was already back by my feet when I was jumping.
Yep.
Yep.
I watched that car no matter where she was. Everywhere she went, I watched that car.
My goal, if anybody wants to try, what's he going to do next? You know what? You can't fully figure that out because I keep that locked down in my gun safe. However, one of the big goals for me and these two guys right here, and for RCRI, RC Racing Innovations, chassis and wheelie bars, Phantom Motorworks, Hobbywing, we want to be the first Nprc car set up just like they are in the 70 mile an hour mark. That's our goal. We want to be doing 70 miles an hour. You have to get a half a mile an hour more out of these cars is hours of work. I mean, we're already right there teetering on the edge of what they can do. And with the new motor technology that we're getting the help with from Troy at Phantom Products, and some of the things we're doing with the chassis, I don't think it's impossible, but man, it's going to take, money and hours and a god awful amount of money in tires testing. Tires are expensive, guys. So, yeah. So why don't we do this? I want to get into a little bit of. I've been having a lot of guys hammering me down about the spoilers, and a couple things I want to add a couple things verbally about the spoilers and the spoilers that we run. And then I'm going to show you how to make a canard really quick. And a canard, if you don't know, is the proper term for one of these. And what this is doing is this is spoiling and it's pushing down just like my finger is. And it helps. It doesn't do much. But when you got a car that's just teetering and wanting to pull up and it's right there, at lifting and kiting a little bit, these really help. Now, granted, in some areas, people don't think that they're legal and they can be sharp, so I would recommend cutting the edges off. Like you've seen, I've cut the little tips off of these ones here. But if I can show you how to make this, maybe some of you will see how easy it is to work with this Lexan. Not only know how to make a canard, but maybe even try and venture out and buy some Lexan and try and make a spoiler of your own. The first thing I want to say is I've had, I believe I'm going to have to say that in the Nprc world, the no prep stuff, I'm the one that first started using big spoilers. And right off the bat, I want to clear this up. As far as the spoilers looking big, if you look at the side of this, heck yeah, it looks big. But that's not the whole spoiler. If you come up here to the top, I only have 1.25 inches here, or 1 3/8 inches off of the deck lid, okay? So the only reason, if we can drop this real quick, the only reason why the side is so big, so it can come down to the bottom and bolt back into the body to triangulate the weak corner of the body from the weight of the wing. Without this piece coming down, the body would buckle in the trunk and the wings flop around. So that's the only reason why they look so big. They're really not that big. So with every, copying somebody's design to me is the most sincere form of flattery. If I found something that works and you're like, I'm going to do that to my car, that makes me feel good because I figured it out. Some of the guys that try and duplicate these spoilers don't really have the mechanical knowledge of an ASC certified master mechanic and a master welder and fabricator. They've never worked sheet metal. Hell, most of them have never worked Lexan. So in copying to try and make one for their car so that they can be on the bandwagon and get the benefits of it too, they don't understand some of the stuff. And I've seen a couple guys with spoilers that have the tabs. If you come over here to this body, you see how this tab on this deck lid is bent down to keep the airflow nice through here? Well, they're bending the tab upward at 1.5 inches, which is plenty, all the height you need for a side dam on a spoiler. But then to that, they're adding a big old 4-inch piece, and you don't need that big old, For those guys, we have a new design from Judd's RC Motorsports that we want to show everybody. I'm going to grab that other race car over there. I think you guys are going to be really wild about this design. I think this is a great thing for the guys that are getting into the Lexan. And I really think that this spoiler, this is what you guys need.
I gotta back up.
Oh, that's a wang.
So remember, 1.5 inches off the deck lid, guys, is all you need to go. And if you want to go bigger than that, then you might as well go
Ricky,
for the
you hide behind
full-blown
it.
stage 3.
You hide behind it.
the full-blown stage 3 Jack and the Beanstalk side dam. It works. I mean, it looks funky, but it works. So I hope you guys, this is a prototype model. So nothing's confirmed yet. But here, take this thing out. So anyway, what I'm saying, guys, is hey, this is the deck lid. Okay, this is where the air is coming over. Okay. So this big majority of the wing, I have just as much wing hanging down from that deck that I do going up. And this only needs to be 1.25 inches. I mean, it doesn't need to be any higher than the roof. This one actually hasn't been trimmed yet, so it's actually probably about 1/8 inch above the roof, but it needs to be trimmed down. You get two bigger ones up here and you catch a bad gust and it folds it over. I mean, you're going to actually shoot the car off one way. So let's do some Lexan work. Randy, give me a hand with that.
Yeah.
Can we move that car to the utmost? And then put that car there. Okay.
Don't fall off, Ghost.
So what I'm going to do here...
No jumping, Ricky, okay?
If you want to grab your seat, camera lady. Jamie is here, nice enough to help us with the camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build just your basic canard, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just using a regular combo, and I'm going to mark out 3 inches. And you know what? We're even going to use that existing line. All this is a piece of 030 Lexan. You can buy it at any of your local hobby shops. And the lines there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a 3-inch canard, okay? So there's 3 inches. Half of 3 inches is what? It's 1.5 inches, okay? So then, off of that 1.5 inch mark, I'm going to measure 2 inches, okay? So we got 3, a mark at center, okay? And 1 at 2 inches, okay? So then what I'm going to do, let's do this like we know what we're doing here, huh? Is I'm going to take this combo square, and I'm going to put a nice square line up the center line of the Lexan, okay? And what that's doing is that's intersecting my center line with the 2-inch mark, okay? Then I'm going to take this back apart, and I'm going to intersect all those lines together. And what I'm doing is I'm making a triangle. It's a very precise triangle. And when you're doing this, if you use a Sharpie, whatever you use on it, I like Sharpie, but don't do it on Lexan that doesn't have the plastic coating like this, because the Sharpie will not come off. So use something that is, like a Sharpie. Always use, you can tell the nice, I always use a brand new Sharpie when I'm laying something out. If you got one with a dulled tip and it's an old Sharpie, wait to do the project and get a new Sharpie. This is only going to be as precise as your layout work. Like I tell people in the welding is only 10 or 20% of it. The rest of it, most of it, 80% of it is layout work. So same thing with this. We want a nice product. And I'm going to intersect that. Now what I got is I got a 3-inch wide triangle that's 2 inches high with a center line down it, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come off of here, let's say 3/8 of an inch, okay? To one side. Now, until you bend this, which we're not getting to yet, this can be a left or a right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line down those 2 intersecting lines, okay? And then I'm going to just kind of freehand out 2 dots. And what those dots are going to be for is where my drill marks are. So, Randy, if you grab the drill, okay, pop those 2 holes, but while you're popping them, hand me that black case over there. I also seen a lot of things on different posts in the last couple weeks about guys saying, hey, look at this. It's a picture of a screw and a bulkhead or something. Like, how do we get this out? You guys invest in good wrenches. This is a set that I got from a buddy of mine named Matt Kidd. Matt, if you're out there, what's up, brother? These, where if you have like a regular L wrench or something like that, or even some of the cheaper like Chinese stuff, and it rounds a screw out, 9 times out of 10, almost like an easy out, a nicer wrench like these will take it out because it's so much more precise. So the reason why I'm going into here's another set with all my sockets. I got my This is a cool little tool. This is a pinion extractor from when it gets stripped out and you can't get the pinion off. I got all kinds of little doodads in here, and they really just make the hobby that much more precise. So what I'm going to use, 33 years doing this, never used one of these, totally knew they were out there. This is just a bee's knees. If you don't have one of these, get one of these, okay? So, and here's what I mean. When he's done drilling these 2 holes, good job, by the way, you're going to have these big burrs on the back. And if you use like an X-Acto or something, they're really easy to put into the Lexan and make a cut in there. Now you don't have a perfect hole, you have a cut. So you put this reamer in there, and you just kind of really gently go around, and boom, it pops that burr off and makes it nice and flat in there.
Without blowing the hole out.
Without blowing the hole out. If you push too hard, that blade right there will dig. It is razor sharp. It will dig right into that Lexan. Hey, do me a favor, Randy. Tell him to pipe down for a minute. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is...
Probably just scared the crap out of Janelle.
Is she out there? Oh, hi, Janelle.
So okay. So what I'm going to do now? What do I got here so far? I have a 3-inch wide triangle that's 2 inches high with a center line. I've gone off 3/8. You can go quarter. If you want it thinner, you can go 1/2 inch. I think the ones on the Ghost are a 1/2 inch. And what that's going to be is the distance between the 2 spoilers on the canard. Okay. So after I'm going to do that, I'd always recommend drilling and reaming your holes out before cutting out. Well, at least before bending it. The reason why we drilled the holes and reamed them, because it's such a small piece before we cut it out that it's easier to work with. It's easier to hold on to. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to follow these lines that I made with just a regular pair of household scissors.
Well, Matt says you need a good pair of Lexan scissors, Matt.
Yeah, I know. I have a nice set. I don't know where they are. Thanks, Matt.
Is that them right there?
Those aren't my straights. I have all my curves in there. But you know what? This works great. I use these every now and then if I cut it all the way. Give me one of those little black curved scissors, actually. So now what do I got? I got my 3-inch triangle that's 2 inches wide with a 3/8 offset and 2 holes. What those holes are going to be is those are going to be the mounting holes. So I think I have one right here. Nprc products, get you some. RCRI, Hobbywing. So this is that's 5th generation Ghost. This is
Seeing double.
3rd or 2nd generation Ghost. So, and as you can see, the 2 holes for the canards there, and that's where those holes are going to line up to. We'll get into that in a minute. You want to take that for me? So what?
Matt, I can't watch you cut with those again.
Thanks, Matt. So now I'm going to take my duck bills. There's a lot of way to do this. There's a lot of different companies that offer a lot of different ones of these that are just regular pliers. This one's actually made for metalworking. It's a little bit more heavy duty, but I like the way, the precision that the jaws clamp down. I have a little tiny break for when I'm doing bigger Lexan, like the spoilers, like this nice break. You could do this nice break with this, but at some point it's not going to have a perfect line. No matter how good you do it, it's going to be multiple folds, and you're going to have to even it all out. And it's going to have some kind of jog in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp down on that line. I'm going to bend it over. You don't need to heat this stuff up. And once there's a fold precisely where you want it to be in the Lexan, this is what you have. This is the beginning of a canard. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish it with my hands. Actually, when it's wide open, you can actually do the mounting. It's a little bit easier to do the mounting. But you will actually get different performance out of if these are both straight or if one's down. I actually get more downforce when this one is down, and it can catch a little bit more air. But you can do the same thing to both sides, and as you can see, you have a perfect little canard. So that's how easy this stuff is to work with. So a lot of you guys are trying to figure out the spoilers now after seeing some of our cars. You know, this is pretty much how they're built. I mean, if you look at the back of this car, this one's a good. All the Ghost, all the cars are put together like this. It is just time and layout with a precise pen and precise measurements. and you fold it with the proper tools, and you drill it out perfectly, and you just take your time with it. And each spoiler on all of these cars, there's probably minimum an hour in it. Some of them, I think this one's probably got an hour and a half into it because it was a new design. If you want to grab me one of the templates up there. Again, to me, the most important part of the spoiler is to move it as far as you can, as wide as you can. So the spoilers that are only this wide as the cab of the car, those really aren't doing much because they're just taking spoiled air. So what this is actually the template for the spoilers side dams that I run on the Ghost. If you can drag her over here. And what that is this is a perfect shape of the back of the Mustang body with my little tab for bolting onto the back of the body. And this is a cardboard template for popping out that piece. And that's what that is. So this is just like one of those manila files. They're great for making templates out of. Get a couple of those, cut them out.
Cardstock.
Or cardstock. Yeah, cardstock is good. This I find is a little bigger for bigger stuff.
I've got a full size, almost like a letter size sheet. I found a cardstock that I use. It works really well.
Oh, really?
And
Oh, okay.
it's multiple colors too, so you can
awesome.
Different bodies.
Different bodies.
Exactly.
So again, that's it's really easy to make this stuff, and the Lexan's really cheap. The nylon screws that we use, you can get them at your local hobby shop. Custom Works has them. A-Main has them. eBay has them. I think eBay is probably where I get a lot of my big bulk ones with all the colors and stuff like that. If you notice the back of the gunslinger here's got blue ones to match the blue, and these are all black to match the black and white. So it all depends on how far you want to go with it. You guys just saw me make that right there. I mean, how easy that was, out of a scrap piece of Lexan, So again, that thing can be a left or a right. I would have just have bent it the other way. So you make two of these, when they're flat, they're both exactly the same lines, same holes. But then when you go to bend them, make sure, look at that angle on the front, and make sure you're making a left and a right, not two lefts or two rights. Because once you start bending it, then it is
two left don't make a right.
It's asymmetrical. It's not a left or a right anymore. So if you want to take this car real quick and put it on the car stand and hand me that Ghost body. So when I'm holding one of these on there, I like to get about 20 degrees out of it. And I'll hold it on there, maybe even run a little piece of tape here and get it just perfect. And then I'll mark it with my Sharpie, take this back off, pop the holes in it, and then bolt it on with my nylon screws. Now what I'll do is I'll take certain measurements, and I have a protractor that I'll figure out what this angle is, and then on this side, I can lay that out to get it as close to the other side as I can, because you don't want it 30 degrees and want it 18 degrees. That just isn't gonna work right. So here's that. And you guys got anything else you guys want to add for tonight?
You guys want to know?
I think I'm good.
What about you, Randy?
No, I don't think there's anything.
There is one thing I want to add. I heard a lot of comments at the track that the only reason why these cars were going straight was because of the wing. I can tell you, if you watch the first round that I ran this car, it was not the wing.
No.
It was all in the chassis setup. It was a mistake that I made, and I got lucky that I was able to win the race. So if you're going to say it's this wing, you're wrong.
That's bull.
Because
if you guys want to put on a no spoiler shootout, I'll be game. I'll be the first one in line competing. I got some tricks up my sleeve for that too.
Yeah, I did see a guy saying that it was all in the spoiler, but my car was making a hard right all the time. I had to keep in my wheelie bar to get that thing to go straight. It was not the spoiler.
I've given you guys a little glimpse in the last 4 episodes of how much work goes into these cars. And it is not a spoiler. It is not the wheelie bars. It is not the gearing. It's not the motor. It's not the battery. It's not the chassis. It's not the suspension. It's not the tires. It's not the stagger. It's not the aero. It's all of it. It's all of it working in complete beautiful harmony and producing what you see here. Okay? So if anybody thinks that I can't get a car into the 60 mile an hour mark without a spoiler, I'm just shaving 50 grams of weight off the body. I could still make it work. I think that we're going to stick with the spoilers because, again, my goal is to get to 70 miles an hour. And I think once we get that fast, kiting is going to come in severely into play. And we're going to need that downforce and some of that stuff to keep the car going. So stay tuned with the goal for 2020. That's what I want to do. I want to be the first guy that's doing 70 miles an hour. And again, if you don't like the wings or you want a trunk on your car or headlights or whatever, I dig that too. That's freaking cool, man.
Make it all scale.
Some of those cars look cool. I seen a couple guys say, or maybe one or two guys say that, that's what this class was about, was to look like real cars and this and that. And it really wasn't. This class was based off of the show Street Outlaws. And all those cars have spoilers on it. And the reason why our spoilers maybe are a little bit higher than a real, car like that's on Street Outlaws is because, again, like I said, some of this stuff works for RC cars, it works for drag racing. Not all of it. This isn't a real drag car. It's an RC car. You have 2,500 pounds keeping the car straight on the ground with a real car. With a little 4.5 pound car, it takes a little bit more aerodynamical finagling to make that happen, right? So, I respect all builds, but respect ours too. We're not bad mouthing anybody, that's pretty much all I got to say about that. It is a lot more, and I think that's what we're covering here in the video is all the things it takes to make one of these winning chassis. So, again, I want to thank Troy at Phantom Motors and Batteries, Phantom RC products in general, Phantom. Get a hold of him, get yourself some fast stuff. I hope he's watching. If you're watching, hey Troy, what's up, man? Steve at RCRI, which is RC Racing Innovations. If you haven't, tuned into their website and looked at some of their products, get some rubber bands because your jaw is going to drop. I mean, some of their stuff is it's beautiful. So, Ron at Hobbywing, everybody else around the area that's helped me out, everybody across the nation that's helped me out to accomplish where we're sitting right now. And we plan on keeping it, and we ain't going nowhere anytime soon. And so if you guys are done...
John Schultz asked
the questions.
What did I miss? John Schultz, you missed the wang.
You missed
the wang. You're not looking. This is the new prototype.
This is the new the Judd Beanstalk Side Dam 3000, available at your local Walmart.
We touched on how Vegas was.
We did. We touched on
how much fun it was.
Someone asked, any words on mid-motor chassis?
Oh, Daniel.
I can say, and Randy can vouch, we saw some very fast mid-motor chassis in Vegas. It's something that some of the guys around here, from what I've heard, being somewhat new to this whole thing, is that they couldn't get them to work.
I'm giving it another go.
I saw some cars make some passes down that track that I went, oh boy, I'm in trouble. But if you watch the slow-mo that Mark Vine, hey Mark, if you're watching, he made a pass, and then, or our race actually, he slowed it down, or somebody did, and when this car left, it just launched hard and just kept going. So I'm going to definitely stay with the rear motor. That's just my personal opinion. That's what I've run, and look where it's gotten us. So
I'm giving it another shot because the first mid-motor car I did have set up, it just, I don't know if it was my setup or what, but I completely changed it, made it rear motor. I think it launches, leaves hard as heck. But I do have another chassis that I ordered last month that just shipped out today that I'm excited to get. And
sounds like we need to get you an RCRI chassis, man. They make a Black Widow mid-engine, and it's bad to the bone.
Gabe Abraham says it's now Hobbywing.
I love you, Gabe.
What else we got? We got...
what's a mile per hour at right now?
Over 60.
Using a handheld radar gun when we were out at the track just testing, we were hitting 63 pretty consistently out of pretty much everybody's cars.
And 7 miles an hour to 70 doesn't sound like a lot, but man, when you're running like we're running, it's a lot. I mean, I'm going to have to ask for a gust of wind, and I mean, it's going to take a lot to get these things up. But I think Troy at Phantom and, RCRI Innovations... and Hobbywing, I think those are the companies that are definitely going to help us get there. We'll have to see what the tires do at 70, but that's for another episode. So with that, I bid you adieu. Unless anybody's got any last minute questions. I'm going to give it about 30 seconds.
I want to do a preference between belted or non-belted and why. Haven't seen enough good results with belted yet.
I
beat the heck out of them.
I got some of the first sets that came into our local hobby shop, Jake's Performance Hobbies, and I put them on, and they were just absolutely the wrong compound. They're put together nice. They really are starting to get the technology with the belting down, but they have not. Let's face it, nobody makes a perfect tire yet, okay? Our tires probably balloon most of any tires out there, and we let them balloon because they work like that. And they're biting harder than anybody else. So I'd like to see our company do some belting.
That nice soft compound rubber.
I don't know if that's something that a threshold that can't be achieved due to the fact that with the belting process and whatever it takes to do that. I don't belt tires for a living, so I've tried every tire on the market. I've tried every rim on the market. I've tried probably 11 different ways of belting a tire. And in the end, I was spinning enough RPM to always snap at least a 1/4 inch of it apart. When you got the rest of it not expanding and a 1/2 inch of the tire has come undone inside somehow, it makes for a hellacious wobble. So, nobody's perfected it yet,
There's
yeah.
another maker out, but I have seen not.
I think it's
very
J
good.
Concepts.
Yes, I've
made
seen some not
some.
very good stuff.
I heard a rumor that the belting isn't wide enough in them, and that's the problem.
And outside of it's chunking apart.
Okay, so maybe J Concepts can work on that. And what about the compound? Is the compound softer?
It looked pretty soft in all the pictures of the rubber that actually came apart. It looked like it came apart fairly
From the
easy,
pictures
so
I
it might be
saw,
soft.
it looked like just the last 1/8 inch of the tire was ballooning, and it wore that out, and he had holes in the outsides of the tire. So maybe depending on, I wasn't there, so depending on how it's hitting, before it does that, maybe that's the right compound. That's what it's going to take, tire people. I don't know if you're out there watching Proline, J Concept. It's going to take a soft, grippy silicone-like tire with a belting process in a thickness that will not wear out and is fast because they're all going to wear out. And one that is true. And one that's lightweight, so it's they got some work to do, And I think it's exciting that big companies are starting to listen to us and starting to belt stuff. But
is that better, Matt? Ricky still hasn't smiled the whole video. He said.
Any other questions, guys?
What tires do you currently use?
Trademarks, copyright, not to be used, confused, Ricky Bobby. Unless I'm promoting for them. I'm going to show you guys a lot of stuff that I really don't need to show people, and I have no problem with that. I don't mind opening my hood, but there are some stuff that, nobody makes a perfect tire. My tires aren't perfect. They just happen to work with my cars. My cars don't always, I have to tune the car around the tires. So what works for you, I don't know what kind of surface you're running on. I don't know, what your demands are. I don't know how cold or hot it is where you live. You got to find what works, good for you. I can tell you the softer compounds in tires are going to work for, say, 70 to 75 degrees and below. If you're out where it's kind of nippy out, and you go with a little bit firmer tire or a clay compound once it gets a little bit warmer out because they're going to warm up on their own. But as far as the tires we run, the local guys know what we're running, and we don't, we're not having a tire brand comparison here tonight or anything like that. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to answer that question. I play the.
I can tell you the tires that work on this car don't work on my other 3. So
there you go.
It's like he said, it's tuned around the tires.
Some of our tires, the word kind of got out, and they've been used here locally, and a couple of the guys like them, and some of the guys can't keep a foam in them. I mean, every time they run them, they blow the tires out. I don't know what they're doing wrong, but I mean, I've run more tires than these than anybody else. Probably more tires than anybody else. And I've probably gone through $5,000 worth of tires in the last 2 years. And they don't last long, man. They're expensive, and I get about 4 to 6 passes out of them. So unless you're willing to throw that kind of money at it, it sucks because the tires they don't last long.
I do have to say, walking around talking with the Hawaiian guys, I was amazed to see them running knobbies.
Yes, dirt tires.
Dirt tires.
Because the whole thought about that, me and Gary O'Connor, local OG racer here, was talked about it one time. If you were to take a magnifying glass and look at the surface of a no prep street or a parking lot, you're not going to see a beautifully flat paved surface. It's going to have all kinds of crevices and Grand Canyons in it. Well, if you have that on the bottom, the whole thought of the knobby tire is that they're going to grab each other. And I've seen some people do some pretty cool stuff with knobby tires. The only drawback to knobby tires is they're heavy. They're not very true. And when you start spinning, almost 70,000 RPM in the motor, or almost 60,000 under a load with the chassis on it, and you start really leaning on her, those tires for us, they just didn't work. We were wearing out the centers and they stopped hooking up, or they were so imbalanced or whatever, even after balancing them, that they just didn't work for us. So if you can find something that works good for you, I will say that the Proline Primes, I've had really a lot of good luck before I went to the tires I'm running now. They're phenomenal tires. I think if I didn't have my tire that we're running right now, I'd probably be running the 2.2 3.0. What is it, the clay compound prime or something like that? They're a great tire. So
a lot of the guys like the Hoosiers now too.
The Hoosiers?
That seems to be more popular than the Primes. I don't know if just because it's the name and it looks more like a drag tire, or if they're really
Hoosiers
good.
work really well on my other 3 cars. It's colder weather. I've been running the purple, and they last a while and they work great on those cars.
Good.
So it's all a preference on, and basically based off of what you set it up for.
That's one of those things, guys, where it's what works for us. I mean, might not work for anybody else.
That's my car. My car only runs on super softs. It will not hook up on clays, no matter how hot.
And that's all I run is clays. So there you go. You know what I'm saying? Anything else? Any other questions, guys? How many people we got watching?
We got 60 right now.
Okay.
Hey, Carson.
Hoosiers are flatter.
Get this out to you.
That's probably true.
Get this out to you at the beginning of the week. So be looking for it next week.
Pretty sweet, dude. Carson's going to have a nice little carbon fiber chassis and some nice bars. And these bars here, if you guys ever break them, these sides can be bought at, actually online even, at Jake's Performance Hobbies in Rohnert Park, California. Jake actually cuts these out. I run the RCRI bars personally myself. That's what I like. These are a good bar. They're carbon fiber. They're light. But this is what we're sending you. And if you ever do, tag a wall and take one of the side plates out, you can get them at Jake's, so you don't have to buy a whole new wheelie bar setup. I personally, I run. If I could take the Ghost here, I run all RCRI 10-inch bars. Ladder bars. This is an RCRI. Is that okay? Yeah. Black Widow chassis.
We have to.
We have to. This is some of the stuff that if there's some stuff that I have to, promote. I'm going to promote companies that I'm running the stuff because I believe in it and I know that I'm going to get to 70 with it. This is just hands down what we want to be running. So these are available at RCRI, which is RC Racing Innovations, and this is a chassis that was discontinued. I got one before they were discontinued. They've just been reintroduced, and I want to say for us,
for us because of winning the race.
If you guys want a good chassis that you can build on and it's obviously proven. Go to RCRI and get yourself a Black Widow chassis. Get yourself. I think that the Black Widow chassis are, what are they, about just under 200, right? They're like 180 or 190 bucks or something. But man, they come with all the hardware and they're really nice chassis. So and Phantom Racing motors and batteries. We can't rave about them enough. I mean, their stuff's just I remember the first time dynoing one a couple months ago, when I started getting away from some other motors and wanted to get into some higher end race motors, and I started dynoing them and tweaking them a little bit, and I was just like, wow, would you just look at it, So Phantom, they make all kinds of stuff, guys. They make speed controllers that work great for drag racing. They're 160 amp, speed controls. That do the turbo timing and stuff. Batteries, great batteries. The batteries, I highly recommend getting them. The motors, there's nothing I can find on the market that's better right now. I mean, that's why we took them on for the year. I mean, I really want to, just like Ricky showed me what I did with building that car, I want to be able to be Troy at Phantom's Ricky. You know what I'm saying? I want us to be you know what I'm saying? I want to show him what he's done. So if you're watching Troy, stand by, brother. And Hobbywing. Hobbywing's just absolutely awesome, hands down. And with that, guys, if there's no more questions,
which Phantom battery are you using? 8200 milliamp, 130C.
Yeah, the 8200 milliamp. He's got a 2S pack that's 8200 milliamp. It's a graphene battery. It's 130C.
Yeah.
130C battery, hands down, through the roof, off the chain. Get you one. They're good packs. So, with that, I want to bid you adieu and say God bless. Thank you for everybody for watching. Tune in next week. I'll tune in on the Sonoma County Nprc page on Facebook. That's where we go live from. Sometime this next week, I will make a posting on when the next video is going to be. We're going to get. I have some ideas, but I haven't really concreted a plan for the next video. And I will be doing that in the next week, and we're gonna cover some more in-depth stuff. Maybe we'll finally do a motor dyno night and show you why some of these Phantoms are so just kick butt, man. So with that, bye everybody.
Thanks for tuning in.